In our last video about the dealership parts trap, a viewer named Sean left a comment that hit the nail on the head. He said, "This country is going the way of Cuba. People in Cuba drive very old cars because that is all they can afford." He is absolutely right. With new trucks costing $80,000 and dealerships actively discontinuing the computer modules required to keep older trucks alive, Americans are being forced into a corner. But blue-collar mechanics are not giving up. They are executing the ultimate act of automotive defiance. Today, we are exposing the pre-emissions loophole. We are going to show you why smart owners are intentionally buying blown-up modern trucks, ripping the computers out of the dashboard, and dropping in 30-year-old analog engines to create the ultimate, unkillable, off-grid super trucks. And more importantly, we are going to expose why the EPA is actively trying to make this exact mechanical survival tactic federally illegal. To understand why this rebellion is happening, you have to look at the absolute nightmare of owning a modern diesel truck. If you buy a brand new heavy-duty diesel today, you are not just buying a reliable workhorse. You are buying a ticking time bomb of federally mandated emissions equipment. For the last decade, to meet impossible rules from the Environmental Protection Agency, engineers choked modern diesels with diesel particulate filters, diesel exhaust fluid injection systems, complex exhaust gas recirculation valves, and hypersensitive nitrogen oxide sensors. When a single microscopic sensor gets coated in soot, the computer panics. It throws your truck into limp mode on the highway, cutting your speed to 5 miles an hour while you are towing a heavy load. The failures have been so catastrophic that just days ago, in late March 2026, the Environmental Protection Agency announced it was rolling back the limp mode mandates and removing the requirement for diesel exhaust fluid quality sensors. But for the millions of trucks already on the road, trapped by the old software, the damage is already done. And it gets worse. Modern diesels use incredibly fragile high-pressure fuel pumps, like the infamous CP4. When that pump fails, it sends microscopic metal shrapnel through the entire fuel system, destroying the injectors and the fuel lines. A modern diesel engine failure is no longer a mechanical issue. It is a hostage situation controlled by the vehicle software, and it routinely costs $8,000 to $15,000 to fix. And when it breaks, the dealership is the only one with the proprietary scanner allowed to clear the code and get you back on the road. So what is the solution? You execute the ultimate bypass. Smart mechanics are hunting down modern Ford Super Duties and Chevy Silverados with blown factory engines. They buy them for pennies on the dollar because the electronic powertrain is completely destroyed. Then they rip out miles of useless copper wire, pull the fried computers off the firewall, and drop in the holy grail of diesel engineering, the 5.9-liter 12-valve Cummins from 1994 to 1998. When you drop a mechanical Cummins into a modern Ford chassis, a swap so popular the industry literally calls it Fummins, you achieve vehicular perfection. You get the modern, comfortable, heavy-duty suspension, the quiet cab, and the aluminum body of a newer truck, but it is powered by an untrackable, million-mile analog heart from the 1990s. You have effectively built a ghost truck. Why the 12-valve? Because it is 100% mechanical. It uses the legendary Bosch P70100 mechanical fuel injection pump. It does not have an engine control module, it does not connect to the internet, and it does not report your emissions to a corporate server. To make a 12-valve Cummins run, you only need 3 wires, one for the starter, one for the alternator, and one to hold the fuel shutoff solenoid open. That is it. Once you physically lock that fuel solenoid open, you can literally disconnect the battery, remove the alternator, and the engine will continue to fire on pure, uninterrupted compression until the tank runs dry. It is completely immune to the government's highly contested in-cabin surveillance mandates, and no hacker with a laptop can ever shut it down. Furthermore, because it is purely mechanical, it is not picky about what it eats. In a true grid collapse scenario where the gas stations lose power, a 12-valve Cummins will run on kerosene, home heating oil, transmission fluid, or filtered waste motor oil. It is the ultimate off-grid survival machine. But this level of true ownership absolutely terrifies the regulators. You are completely bypassing their multi-billion-dollar compliance industry. This is why the Environmental Protection Agency and state regulators like the California Air Resources Board are actively weaponizing the DMVA against people doing these swaps. They have spent the last 5 years levying massive, multi-million-dollar fines against aftermarket tuning companies and diesel shops to try and crush the aftermarket. Even with the recent rollback on greenhouse gas emission standards, the core rules under the Clean Air Act remain. Under federal emissions tampering laws, it is strictly illegal to swap an older pre-emissions engine into a newer chassis for on-road use. If your truck was manufactured in 2018, the government mandates that any engine powering it must meet 2018 emission standards. If you roll into an inspection station with a purely mechanical 1995 diesel engine sitting under the hood of a modern truck, they will fail you instantly. They will flag your VIN, deny your registration, and declare your property illegal to drive on public roads. They claim this crackdown is entirely about protecting the environment, but mechanics and truck owners know it is really a battle over property rights and control. If the automaker holds the software keys to your engine, and the government dictates exactly what physical metal parts you are legally allowed to bolt to it under threat of massive fines. Did the property actually transfer to you when you bought it? Or did you just sign an $80,000 contract to lease a highly regulated piece of construction equipment? They want to force you into a digital truck by making it legally and financially exhausting to keep an analog engine alive. They want to make self-reliance a crime. But the American aftermarket is fighting back. We are not just consumers, we are fabricators and problem solvers. Mechanics are using legal loopholes, registering these swapped trucks as farm vehicles, securing heavy equipment exemptions, or living in rural counties that refuse to implement emissions testing. The 12-valve Cummins represents the last era of uncompromised mechanical freedom, and that is exactly why they want it banned. Have you ever seen a 12-valve swapped into a modern truck? What is the most extreme engine swap you have ever done to escape a failing computer system? Sound off in the comments below, because your ingenuity is writing the survival guide for the rest of us. If you refuse to surrender your property to the dealership cartel, hit the subscribe button to join the resistance. Keep turning your own wrenches, stay off the digital grid, and we will see you in the next one.